Hey you guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the Sunday Prep Rally. We are banging out week 39. This week's menu is brought to you in collaboration with Chef Megan Mitchell, who is a fellow tastemaker on Tastemade. We've done a bunch of fun work together, and I also just love her recipes because she has an insane garden, tons of amazing fresh herbs. She incorporates lots of freshness into her recipes, which is what I do a lot of. So it was just a very natural collaboration here. So she has shared some of her favorite recipes, which is her one pan roast chicken and her brown rice tabbouleh. Tons of great flavors, super seasonal tomatoes. I have some little beautiful heirloom tomatoes here. It's gonna be really good. So we have a roasted or grilled fish with tzatziki, tabbouleh, and peas. One pan roast chicken with baby potatoes, falafel burgers with that same tzatziki and a tabbouleh. And a pasta primavera with peas and tomatoes. Okay, so it's like a lot of tomatoes and herbs, but you guys are gonna love it, I promise. So head to prepandrally.com, download your PDF if you have not yet done so, shop your list, and let's bang this thing out, okay? Today's prep list for the Sunday Prep Rally, we're doing the roasted potatoes and onions first. I have my oven preheated to 425, so be sure to do that. Get yourself all ready. And I have all my ingredients all set up. You guys know the drill. Roasted tomatoes are going to be next, the brown rice, and then we're going to assemble the tabbouleh at the end. One pan roast chicken, peas, falafel burgers, tzatziki. Sounds like a lot. We're going to bang it out. Start with the potatoes. Super easy, super fast and simple. So I'm using these little like baby potatoes. Some of them are a little bit bigger than others. So anyone that's like a little bit larger, you can just cut them in half. Oh, this is a nice, sharp, fresh knife. Always sharpen your knives, you guys. You're more likely to cut yourself with a dull knife. I say it all the time, but it's so true. How cute is that one? Okay. So, we're hopefully going to prep for under an hour, which is always my promise. And you're going to have a week's worth of food and dinner ready in minutes. So prep and rally way, you guys, okay? So if you have these little baby potatoes, I love them because it's just a great time saver. You don't have to cut every single one. I just cut the big ones so they're all kind of roasting evenly, but it just saves a lot of time. I just salted them, olive oil, and I actually have an onion as well that we're just gonna cut. And we're just cutting it into wedges, okay? And I love roasting onions with potatoes. It's just like a perfect little combo. All right. And you guys know how I do. I always have garbage right by my little workstation, and I have my towel. So I cut this into like 8 or so wedges. So everything cooks kind of evenly. That's it, okay? So simple. Give them a little toss around and get these in. The potatoes take a lot of time, so that's why we're doing them first, also because they're quick to actually assemble. It's quick to just throw in the oven, so we just do it first, bang it out. Look how gorgeous these like pink, purple potatoes are. Pretty. Okay. Give your hands a rinse and pop it in the oven. All right, it's been 3 minutes and we did one thing. Boom. Okay. Next. Throw that in, 425. It'll be in for like 45 minutes or so. All right, next up, we are moving on to our tomatoes. You may recognize this recipe from the meal prep where we had that like Persian kebab chicken, which is such a good one. Go revisit that one if you haven't done so in a while. It's delicious. So these are like similar roasted tomatoes. They're a staple. They're delicious. Put them on everything all week. They're so good. Mine are pretty big, so I'm cutting them into quarters. You could just cut them in halves. You could use any tomatoes you like, honestly. I'm using plum, and I also didn't use all 10, so feel free to modify and use as many as you think you and your family will eat. Okay? Again, another super easy recipe. You guys know everything I do is so simple. And then we have some balsamic. What was I saying? I was at a party last night, and somebody was saying how she's a subscriber. If you're watching this, I love you. It was so fun hanging out with you last night. And she was saying that she knows that I'm all about the shortcuts. I think we were talking about there's some sort of cheat at the grocery store, like buying something, like vegetables pre-cut up or something. She's like, okay, you would do that. That's a prep and rally way, right? And I was like, you bet, girlfriend. Why would you ever do your own thing if you could buy it already done? You're really still saving the same amount of money, and you're just saving a ton of time that way. So any kind of like shortcut or cheat, it's not cheating. I mean, it's just making your life easier. So take full advantage of any grocery store cheat you can. My motto. Okay, so balsamic, olive oil. I just put in some dried oregano, salt. You could do pepper if you'd like, honey, and garlic powder. Oh, my honey's all the way over there. No? All right, and these are also just very simple. You could make these to go along with anything. If you're just like serving steaks one night for dinner, use this recipe because it's just a great little side dish. It's very seasonal, especially in the summertime when there's just tomatoes everywhere. If you have a garden looking to use up some of your produce. Okay? That's all. You could use your hands to give us a little toss around or just use your spoon. That's it, my friends. Throw it in the oven together with those potatoes. These will be in for about 30 minutes, depending on how large they are. But they're just going to shrivel up. They're going to get so sweet. They're going to caramelize and get delicious. Okay? Get them in. All right. Whew. Next up. Okay. The brown rice tabbouleh. Okay, so this is like a two-part process. You could just make the rice today. So I just have my rice ingredients. Follow along in your PDF with the measurements. I have all the measurements already in the pot. I'm just bringing it to a boil. Then I'm going to lower to a simmer once it's boiling. Lower to a simmer, cover it with the top, and let it cook for like 40 minutes or so until it's cooked through. Then I'm going to remove it to another bowl so it can fully cool, because if you put your tomatoes and your herbs and everything in the rice for the tabbouleh when it's hot, it's going to get kind of like mushy, and it's not the most ideal situation. You want it to be cold and crisp and delicious. So once that rice is done, which should be like towards the end of the meal prep, let it cool completely, and then either, like right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start chopping up all the herbs and everything to go along with the rice, so it's all ready and standing by, but then I'm not going to actually put the rice in it until it's completely cooled. Okay? Something else you could do is just make the rice today, and then if you wanted to make, do like the tomato component and the herbs another day, like fresh right before you're about to serve it, you can do that as well. So it's totally your call how you want to go about tackling this. Okay? So far the rice is cooking. Meanwhile, I'm just going to start chopping up some of my tomatoes for the tabbouleh. I'll put all those ingredients in this bowl, and this is just going to stand by until that rice is cooked through, but also completely cooled. Okay? But we'll just bang this out for now. That's just ready to go for us. All right. So, cut off your little stems. Okay, and I don't know if you guys know about tomatoes in the fridge, but keeping your tomatoes out of the fridge will make your tomatoes a lot happier and will make you happier because it just tastes so much better. They kind of just like get zapped all their flavors once you fridge them. So if you can, try to leave them out, kind of like where you keep your bananas or your potatoes. I just leave them out on my countertop and try to like get to them within the week. They'll just last and they'll be delicious and they'll be sweet and flavorful. They'll be like freezing cold and like ruined from the fridge, okay? So I'm just chopping up my tomatoes. Again, you could use any kind of tomatoes that you like here. Okay, so I'm using a mixture of some heirlooms, but I also bought these golden little cherry tomatoes at the farmer's market the other day, and I'm obsessed with them. When I was in the Hamptons cooking for a client 2 years ago, I literally would buy these every day, and I would just take a little piece of basil and eat it with a tomato. That was like my summer go-to snack. It was so good. And if I had mozzarella, never hurt either, but seriously good. So if you get a chance this summer to try out these little golden tomatoes, I highly recommend them. So just chop up your tomatoes. And a tabbouleh usually is like with some sort of couscous, but you could do it with anything. It just means like a crazy amount of herbs, super fresh ingredients, tomatoes. So good. Okay. So I'm just gonna like quarter each of these. Don't you guys love how you can tell what season it is based on these meal prep plans? Super fun. Super confusing for those of you who are in Australia, who are literally revisiting the meal preps from winter time because it's winter for you. So you're doing like the tagines and all that kind of stuff. So it gets super confusing when putting out content. It was even confusing when I was like living in Florida and it's just boiling hot all year round. So I'm just thinking like ceviches and tacos, and meanwhile you guys are in December freezing your little tushies off, wanting like stews and soups. And I'm in Florida, I'm like, I can't even think about a stew or a soup. So it's funny, but that is why you can always adjust. And then obviously if you're a year subscriber, you get access to the archives. So you can always revisit an old prep that you have that you liked, or even try a new one that you've never tried before from the archives, okay? That's kind of the benefit of having those archives. You have so much more flexibility. And you can also just omit certain recipes if you ever want, okay? I have some chives here. I'm just gonna scroll down for a second because I'm pretty sure there are chives in the tzatziki, and there's also mint in the tzatziki as well. So we're gonna bang it all out because that's just what we do, right? We do things once, use it multiple ways. So I have some fresh chives here, as you can see. And we're gonna use half of this will go in the tabbouleh, okay? I love chives. They're just so fresh and they're not too pungent and kind of oniony flavored. Very mild, almost like a shallot rather than a onion, okay? This little bit of chive, I may as well just put in my little container what I'm making my tzatziki in, so we can just get it out of our way, okay? Your chives may look a little bit more abundant than mine. I'm saving mine for a shoot tomorrow, but do y'all thing. Okay. Cool. And okay, rice is boiling. Lower it down to a simmer, okay? And let that do its thing. We're gonna quickly chop up some parsley and mint, and then we're gonna get started on the chicken because that still needs to cook. This stuff does not need to cook. I just wanna bang it out and get it out of the way. So let's just chop up some parsley. The parsley we're actually gonna be using in our falafel burgers, and we're also using it in this tabbouleh. And then the mint, we're using, I know it's like a lot of herbs. I told you, Megan Mitchell was like herb obsessed, like me. Love it. So, mint and parsley are both going in this tabbouleh. So just kind of cut off those little stems, okay? It's a nice amount of herbs. Feel free to adjust any way you like. Do you hear my board? So annoyed. Wood warps, and if it's not dried right away, it just totally warps on you, and then it gets kind of like rocky, and it's not stable. And it's super annoying, and I put a paper towel, and it's still not really cutting it. It's sad. I made this with my dad. I need a new one. It lasted me a while. Use this every week for 40 weeks since we launched in October. Pretty cool. Okay, so a bunch of the herbs are gonna go in here. Other portion just set off to the side that's gonna go in our falafel burger. So just set that off to the side. Don't get confused with all these different herbs. I know it's a lot, but honestly, you can't go wrong. If you have basil, if you have any other herbs that you like, if you want to omit certain herbs, feel free. I know a bunch of you are probably wondering about the cubed versions, the frozen. I always say you can't compare to the fresh stuff, but we're not making like a pesto here, so you can kind of get away with it. So feel free to just use a bunch of those cubes. Just use a lot. So when it comes to the mint, I've washed everything. I'm just pulling it off the little stems. And you guys have seen me wash them before. You basically just stick all of your herbs. That's what I did when I got all my groceries. I just threw it all in a big bowl with tons of salt, and I do salt and vinegar usually. Double whammy. And you just let it sit there for like 10 minutes. And you shake it out like crazy. And you rinse it out with water again. Shake, shake, shake. Oh, this cutting board. So annoying. The mint smells so good. So annoying. Look at this. I put a paper towel. A little better. Okay. Okay. You guys see what I'm doing? Boop. Kind of like rocking motions back and forth. This is where a good knife comes into play. It doesn't need to be expensive. It just needs to be the right shape so you can do that rocking motion. It goes so much faster. Okay. Beautiful. So some of that mint goes in there. Okay, and again, this part of the prep you could do fresh before you're about to serve it the next day, or you could do it later while your other food is cooling. That's probably a smarter move. I just figured to make it out now, but totally up to you. Okay, in that tabbouleh, once the rice is totally cooled, we're gonna add it in there. Lemon juice, olive oil, salt, pepper. It's gonna be so fresh, so delicious. You're gonna love it, okay? But for now, we pause until that rice is ready to go. Now, that other portion of the mint that we just chopped up, to bang it all out in one shot. Remember the little container that you have your chives in for your tzatziki sauce? Take that mint. There's like, why is this woman like obsessed with all these herbs? Trust me though, it's so good. Try not to skimp on the herbs. You're gonna love it. It's just like summer. So good. Okay. Now our tzatziki sauce is going to come together in like a minute because you just need like 2 more ingredients in there. All right, so and the parsley that we have standing by here, that is going to go in our falafel burgers. So I actually have, can't see him yet because I haven't brought him over here yet. Basically, I have a food processor right over here with my chickpeas already. So either just set your parsley off to the side or add it together with your chickpeas, so that your herbs are already cut, ready to go. And how much faster was that than cutting herbs 3 different times for 3 different recipes? We just banged it all out in one shot. So much more efficient, right? That's what we do, guys. That's what we do. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get started on cooking this chicken because we just gotta get started on it. So, as you can see, I have a nice big pot here. I like using a steel pot, like a La Creuset or something. You don't need to, but having a nice heavy bottom pot is a great way to tackle cooking chicken because it gets nice and hot. And I also like that it has really high walls, like high sides, because the oil doesn't just splatter all over the place and make a huge mess. Okay, by the way, this for the tabbouleh, set it off to the side. Or you could even just store it and then let this cool completely, and then right before you're about to serve it, you could assemble it fresh if you'd like. Just make sure you don't put your rice in there until it is completely cool. Been there, done that, and it makes the tomatoes mushy. So don't do it. Okay, cool. So we have our pot over here. You can sort of see. I'm going to just add a little bit of olive oil, and let's get all of our ingredients over here for our chicken. So this is a 1-pot chicken. Again, this is Megan's recipe. It is so good. Mike loved it. He was obsessed. It's so delicious. And he's not even a sun-dried tomato guy. He loved it, and he also hates fennel normally, but it's so good. And fennel, when it's cooked for a long time, it just gets like sweet and it breaks down and it's so delicious. So definitely give it a try. So the first thing we're gonna do, I have my chicken here. We're gonna season it liberally with salt. You could do pepper as well. And I'm gonna get some tongs. That's the best way. And then we're basically just gonna sear the chicken on both sides until everything is really golden. And that is the best way. Somebody asked, actually, I think it was in the Facebook group, like the best way to, was it in the Facebook group? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was the Prep and Rally Facebook group or a different one, but someone asked how to best to cook chicken. I think it was the Prep and Rally one. And to keep it from getting dry, and I suggested searing it first. It's the best way to prepare chicken always, because it locks in that moisture. By getting a nice sear on the outside, you lock in moisture. It could be a chicken breast, doesn't matter what it is. You lock in that moisture, whether it's a steak, whether it's chicken. Lock in that moisture, get a nice sear, caramelization going, and then you could either finish cooking it in the pot like we're gonna do today, or finish it in the oven, okay? Don't forget about your oven. You have your tomatoes in there, and you also have your potatoes. I'm gonna set my timer for like 30 minutes so I can keep track of it, okay? Tomatoes will probably take a little bit less time. All right, oil should be getting nice and hot now. Once you're there, hear that? It's the best sound, okay? Now we're only making 8 pieces of chicken because it's only for one dinner. Obviously, this is meal prep, and normally we would do like double the amount and repurpose the chicken another way, but today we're just going with one chicken. But feel free to double the recipe or add in a couple extra pieces here if you want to bring something for lunch. Totally up to you. I don't want necks. Okay. So save those for chicken soup and not throw them out. Okay. So let that sear and get nice and golden and crisp, okay? Meanwhile, we're gonna start cutting our fennel, okay? So I use olive oil in the pan. You could use some of the sun-dried tomato oil. You're gonna be using a bunch of it anyways afterwards, so you don't need to, that's fine. Okay, so put that off to the side. Fennel. If you are not familiar with fennel, this is fennel. It looks like a little hand. Super weird looking kind of guy. Hopefully no more little caterpillars in here. We'll find out though. Kind of nervous. The whole family. And I was actually at, oh my God. Pause. Okay, this is how you know your ingredients are fresh. Oh my God. Okay, there's a caterpillar. Holy mother. Do you guys see that? Oh, crazy. Ew. Okay, well, farm fresh takes a whole new meaning. Gross. Okay, be sure to check all of your produce. I hadn't even washed that yet, so that's why there's a little critter on there. Okay. Nope, we're good. Okay. So I always take off the outer little portion of it. Okay, I washed it. Cut off the bottom. Fennel is so good for you. It's amazing for digestion. It has kind of like that black licorice flavor, which turns a lot of people off. But as I said, once it's cooked, it just kind of gets sweet and really delicious. So trust me on that one. So all I'm doing, I'm cutting right down the center, okay, of the fennel. So you end up with 2 pieces of fennel. Whoop. And then you're just going to cut it into slices, okay? Just go as thin as you can. All right. Again, you could omit this. You could do just like onions if you want instead of the fennel. Do some carrots if you want. But this fennel plus the cannellini beans that's going in there, sun-dried tomatoes, it's very like Italian-y. Kind of love it. And the fennel, I promise you, will not taste like licorice flavor at all once it's cooked. I promise you. If Mike liked it, you will too. I promise. All right, give it a minute or 2. Let it keep doing its thing. You want it to be nice and seared and golden and beautiful. We're gonna add, soon we're gonna flip it. We'll cook the other side, and then we'll push all the chicken to the side, add our fennel, and then we're gonna add the herbs, the sun-dried tomatoes. So let's start chopping those because I have full sun-dried tomatoes here. So I have like a little board just because I don't want to get it all over this board. They tend to be kind of messy. And I say to use a 7 to 8 ounce jar, or rather Megan says. I have a 24 ounce jar, so I'm just gonna like eyeball it. And that's really what I want you guys to always get used to, is just Use as much as you like, okay? I love sun-dried tomatoes. I think they're so good. Use as much or as little as you like. Be sure you're buying the sun-dried tomatoes in the oil, and be sure you are saving that oil because it is the most flavorful oil ever, like ever, ever, ever. So even when you're done with this whole jar and you still have more oil, I mean, you're going to be using it in your pasta on Thursday. It's just the most amazing flavor booster. It's 0 effort. Instead of using a regular oil, if you have leftover of this, it's an amazing salad dressing base, okay? So don't throw that oil out. It's so good. That's why we're repurposing it a few ways this week. All right, that chicken sounds like it's sizzling away. And again, that's why I like using that high pan because I could work on high heat and not get a huge mess everywhere. Okay? That's our sun-dried tomatoes. Go check out your chicken and give it a little flip. Beautiful. Okay, hold on, let me show you. See that? See how golden? That is what you're looking for. So that is what's going to lock in the moisture. Flip it. Give the other side a beautiful golden sear. And give it like another minute or so to cook on that side. Loud, huh? This is like the ideal way to cook chicken if you're able to, okay? Sun-dried tomatoes are standing by. Save that oil, obviously you have your fennel ready to go. And then the other ingredients that we're gonna put in here are dried oregano, that same balsamic that we used before, and the beans and the stock, okay? So, let me just double check. Beautiful, okay. Yum, it is smelling so good in here. Okay, so, should be just about good to go now. I'm lowering the heat a tiny bit so I don't get splattered. Move all your chicken off to the side. Okay, it's kind of like, you could pile them on top of each other, that's fine. All right, take your fennel. All right, lower your heat a little so it's just not too crazy. And then some of that sun-dried tomato oil. If your pan's looking a little dry now, you can add some of this oil at this point. Okay. Again, this stuff is so good. There's so much flavor packed in there. I'm telling you. All right. Get your sun-dried tomatoes in there as well. Okay. Lovely. Okay. Get that moving around in your pan. Oh, it should be smelling so good in here. So loud. You guys see what I'm doing? Ooh. Okay. So you want that fennel to soften a little bit, caramelize, and then we're gonna deglaze with our liquid ingredients, okay? So first, let's just season it with our oregano. Okay, get your oregano in there. You can also use fresh oregano if you have and want to. A little more salt. You do some pepper. I'm always lazy for pepper, I don't know why. And then, once they've softened, which is just about now. Okay, you can get that chicken again kind of reincorporated into everything, and then lower your heat a little and slowly add in your balsamic. It's going to go like, woo, it's going to be like a little smoky in here, so hold on. It's going to start to sizzle. You see that? Okay, lower it even more. So we have our balsamic, okay? We have our can of strained cannellini beans, okay? So easy, ready to go in a can. And your chicken stock, and check your PDF for all the exact measuramentos. That's the whole thing, okay? So good. I like to finish it with fresh lemon at the end, lemon zest and juice. It's so good. But basically, just kind of mix everything together. Let everyone kind of get acquainted in there. All right. Oh my God, I love this chicken so much. I'm so excited. Okay, and that's it. And everything just cooks in this one pan. I'm gonna let this pan cool afterwards and store it in this pan and then heat it in this pan all week. Okay, that's that. Bring it to a boil and then we're gonna lower and simmer it, okay? And we're going to cook it for 25 to 35 minutes. Okie doke. So, here, I said to finish it in the oven, 25 to 35 minutes. Truth is though, you could continue cooking it if you don't have room in your oven. I actually do, but I'm just gonna continue cooking it here. So I'm just gonna bring it to boil and then I'm gonna grab a lid and I'm gonna lower it to simmer and just kind of let it keep cooking for 25 to 35 minutes. You could transfer to the oven or you could just keep cooking it here. Totally your call, okay? So it's simmering now. Lid is covered. Our rice is still cooking. Let that keep doing its thing. And, okay, amazing. Potatoes are done. Tomatoes are still cooking. Chicken is just about done. Our tabbouleh, second portion of the recipe is already basically done. We're just waiting for our rice to finish cooking and then start cooling. We're gonna make our peas super fast, and then we're just gonna make our batter for the falafel burgers and the tzatziki. I know it seems like a lot today, but you're gonna bang it out, and it's only been 30 minutes. So look at us. Okay, we're awesome. All right, here we go. All right, so peas. I mean, this is like stupid simple recipe. You could even just skip this whole recipe and just serve thawed peas the night of, or you could just do this. Totally your call. I don't like to cook them for too long because you're going to be reheating them the night of. I just like to know that they're like ready to go and they're seasoned and they're yummy. So take your thawed peas, put them in a pan for like 5 seconds. We're gonna season them. A lot of times I like saute an onion first and then add the peas. So you could totally do that if you like. But I just wanted to like cut out as many steps as possible. Also, really quickly, gonna take my board. If you have a ton of herbs on your board, you're feeling a little messy, always wanna work in a clean kitchen. So be sure to always clean as you go, set yourself up. That'll keep you from like feeling like you have a massive mess at the end, right? And so you have to set yourself up before the meal prep, and then as you go, just kind of do a little clean here and there. Keeps things neat and also keeps things like hygienic, okay? So in your peas, a little bit of olive oil. I'm really like hardly even cooking these. I don't really want them to heat. They're already thawed. So I'm just adding my onion powder and some salt. That's really it. I don't want to do much else to it, okay? Because peas do start to turn brown when they are overcooked, and I will be reheating these the night of. So if they're still frozen, let them kind of thaw in this pan. Otherwise, if they're already thawed, you just like cook them for like a couple seconds and then pull them off. That's really it. I don't want to do much else. Put that in a storage container. You're done, okay? You could do that the night of as well. Super easy, okay? Any ingredients that you are done with, move out of the way. This sun-dried tomato, I have a huge container. I told you guys to get like a fraction of the size of this, but all that oil left over, save, okay? We're gonna be using it on Thursday for our pasta, but even if you have more after that, save it because it's just super good for everything. Rice is still cooking, our chicken is going, and we are going to make some quick falafel burgers, okay? Hold on, let me just take out this plug. Let me plug it in. Big old knot. Okay, so falafel burgers, okay? Chickpeas. We have our 2 cans here of chickpeas. Follow along in your PDF. All the exact measurements are there for you. I've already put in my chickpeas into my immersion blender. I already put that parsley in here, remember? We just banged it all out. So that was easy, made things super quick for now. And here's what's gonna go in here. So for the falafel burgers, you could either form them into actual little ballies if you want, so it looks like falafel. You could form them into mini burgers, into full-size burgers. You could bake them, you could fry them. Do what works for you. If you want to do a variety of things, you could do that as well, so that everyone feels that they're getting like what they want. Totally your call, okay? You can even make cute little shapes with cookie cutters. Up to you. All right. I bake mine though. I just find this easiest. Okay. So I have an onion here. So again, we have the chickpeas in there. We have our parsley. 1 onion. I say to use a medium onion. This is kind of a larger onion. So I may just use like 3 of these little quarters and not all of them because it's kind of large. And so you're just throwing everything in because the immersion blender is the greatest invention of life and it'll do all the work for you, okay? And then we need 4 cloves of garlic. Again, we don't need to peel them because the immersion blender will. Okay, so just pop them like that. I don't know if you guys saw that viral video that was going around about peeling those garlic cloves with that little like picker. Apparently the New York Times Food did like a little test to see if it was actually accurate, to see if it actually worked. Apparently it doesn't. Just saying, I was kind of let down. I don't know how they were able to do it. Maybe they like steamed the garlic first, so they were able to just pop right out. It was cooked, I don't know. But everyone was like freaking out over it. And I was like, ooh, this could be such a great meal prep hack to like get your garlic cloves out, but nope. Doesn't work. But if you've tried it, let me know. I'd love to hear. All right, 4 cloves of garlic in there. Parsley, cumin, and coriander. So nice amount because falafel, these are like the essential falafel flavors. You could measure or you could not, okay? You know how I feel about measuring. But when it comes to something like this, you do not need to measure. You could always add more if you taste it and you think you need more, less, whatever. You could always adjust, but you can't really go so wrong. Something with, I mean, when it comes to salt, for like a burger, little smarter to measure because it just stinks if you over salt a burger and then you have to add more chickpeas. It just kind of gets annoying. So for something like that, I kind of recommend just measuring the first time. I have sesame seeds. You could use toasted or untoasted. Obviously toasted gives it more flavor, but you're going to be cooking it anyway, so it's fine. All right, so throw your sesame seeds in there. We have our salt and a little bit of oil just to kind of like moisten these up a little. Not too dry. Just bought myself a new oil. Happy I remembered it at the store because I feel like I run out all the time. All right, guys, we're almost done. We're gonna finish up this burger batter and then you're gonna make them. You're actually gonna form them fresh that night or you could bake them tonight, totally up to you. I'm going to just store mine in the fridge for later in the week. And then we just have to finish up that tzatziki sauce and we're done, okay? It's a joke, so easy. Breadcrumbs, that's it, because we already have our parsley. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more parsley because I feel like I didn't get enough in there. You also didn't have to chop the parsley that we put in there, I realized, because it's just an immersion blender and it'll do all the work for you. And then the breadcrumbs, okay? So, just about all of them. Hopefully this will all mix nicely. Otherwise, I'll just take a spoon and kind of push everything down and keep working it, okay? So, that's the whole thing. Give it a blend and store it. Okay, so grab a spoon and just kind of like redistribute everything. Put some of the chickpeas in the top, push one of the onions to the bottom, push the parsley down, and then you're just gonna keep blending until everything is totally mixed together and incorporated, okay? Go get it. Some more oil if you need. Okay, keep mixing it. Now this is only happening because we put in full ingredients, and that's fine. You just have to kind of keep distributing it. Okay, obviously, if you chopped everything up, it would be a lot easier, but I don't think you need to, or should, when you have an immersion blender or a food processor that could do all the work for you. Okay, so let it go again.
A few moments later.
The way the food processor works, once you start seeing everything like turn around the whole bowl and start like kind of pouring inwards, getting pulled inwards, you know you're good. Okay, look how yummy that looks. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, that's it. I know it seemed like kind of difficult, but it's worth it, promise. All right, take a little look at your rice. The water's absorbing. I'm gonna give it like another minute or so and then I'll shut it off. Chicken's looking good, it's simmering, doing its thing. Set this off to the side. You're gonna put this in a bowl and store it for later in the week, and then you're gonna cook it fresh, okay? What else? What else? Clean your board, and we're just going to make that tzatziki sauce. Meanwhile, it's only been 44 minutes, and this wasn't the easiest prep or the fastest one, but still well under an hour. Crazy. Okay, so, oh, my eyes are burning off that onion. Okay, we have our tzatziki that we started. Mint and parsley already went in there, right? Okay. All we gotta do now is our Greek yogurt. So, I have our Greek yogurt right here. You could also use sour cream, but the Greek yogurt is very traditional tzatziki because it's kind of tarty. I also love it because it just has a lot of protein in it, so it's super healthy. I'm making a nice amount of this because some of it you're going to be serving with your fish, and the other half of it is going to be going on those burgers. And you're going to love this. You're going to want to put it on everything, I'm telling you. So good. Okay, so we have our Greek yolks. Let's just finish this guy off. Okay, beautiful. The parsley and the mint, which is already in there. Okay. We have some good old olive oil. It's really good to use like nice quality olive oil here. Okay. And that kind of further enhances that Greeky kind of flavor, that Mediterranean. Oh, already looks so pretty. The chives we have in there as well. Forgot to mention that. Some salt. Grab your pepper. Let's do some pepper here. Basically done with this pepper. But get some pepper in there. It's really good in here. And then we're just going to dice up a cucumber, because that is classic tzatziki. Okay. All right, nice and peppery. Also, my kids likely will not be eating this anyways, so I can make this my way. Okay. Oh my God, yum! That smells so good. Okay, and then our cuke. So, you see? I basically just cut off the ends. I bought one of those like big old American kind of cucumbers, not the like Persian-y or Mediterranean ones. So I cut off the peel. Normally I would just leave the peels on, but I just find those peels to be inedible. And I just cut it into thin slices like this first, okay? And then you stack your thin slices, which is what I have here, and cut it into kind of like matchsticks. You could also grate this if you wanted to like grate it using a grater or your food processor or something. You could totally do that as well. But I just like little small dice. Fresh cucumber. You guys are gonna love this meal prep, I'm telling you. Good, fresh, summery flavors. Really good, entertaining recipes. They're just so good. Okay, so bring your little container here. My container's not big enough. Okay. So just start to work that in. Yum. If you wanted to add some lemon to this, lemon goes beautifully in here as well. I add lemon to everything. I love lemon. Okay. So that's that. Do a tiny bit more. Let's just do one more of these little guys. That's it, you guys. That's so easy. Under an hour, okay? That's all it takes to have a whole week's worth of amazing food. And we've repurposed so many different items, so many ways that you're gonna save a ton of money this week. Okay? I mean, who doesn't want that? All right, that is our beautiful tzatziki. You could taste it, be sure it's seasoned. Oh my God. Okay, if you guys have ever made my, I'm into there, so good. If you guys have ever made my lentil burgers, this goes beautifully on that as well. Okay, so take your little tzatziki sauce, store it for the week. You're good to go. Put that on everything. You're gonna love it. Guys, that's the whole thing. I'm turning my rice off now. I'm gonna get this right away into a container so it can start to cool. All right, and then once it's 100% cooled, add it into your tabbouleh ingredients, which will take a while for it to cool. So be patient with it. Don't put it in yet until it's totally cooled off. But be sure you get it out of the pan so that it doesn't get mushy or keep cooking. Let it start cooling. Okay, so kind of spread it out so that it starts cooling off. It may not look like that much rice for the week, but because you're gonna have so many tomatoes in here, it bulks it up, which is actually really great for like if you're dieting or trying to be healthy. There's so much tomato to rice ratio in there that you're not getting as much of like carb. Okay, so real quick before we end it, chicken, oh my God, yum. I'm gonna flip the chicken in a minute just to make sure the underside is cooking as well and getting all in that yummy juice. I'm also taking out, taking out my potatoes that are now ready and the tomatoes so everything can start to cool. Oh my goodness, look at these gorgeous potatoes. See that? Yum. Smells so good. I love these different colored potatoes. They're so beautiful. And they're so easy because I didn't have to cut them really. Okay, and then, of course, we have those tomatoes that I told you about. They're so good on just about everything. Check it out. They get super sweet. You break down and caramelize. They're so good. And as they cool, they'll continue to kind of like shrivel and wilt. That's the whole thing, you guys. Follow your PDF, the Monday through Thursday instructions to see how it all comes together in like the quickest dinners ever. Hope you guys love this one. Thank you so much again to Megan Mitchell for sharing her tabbouleh recipe and her chicken. You guys are gonna love that chicken, so definitely keep that recipe and make it over and over again. And I hope you guys love it. Have an amazing week. Bye.